Hey guys, John Bergsma, a brand new week, and we've got 4 more days of awesome fishing reports. We're right here at DNR Sports Center in their new boat showroom, and guys, Miles and the sales staff here at DNR have got boats loaded up. Now, most of the boats you see are sold boats, but here's the cool thing. You can get your boats on order and still get them this spring for the fishing season. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the program, but hey, 2 great reports today. Saginaw Bay, an awesome report from Saginaw Bay. Then we're going to jump up over the bridge and we're going to talk about Curtis, Michigan, the Manistique Lakes Recreation Area. We got awesome fishing in both of those locations. So stay tuned for 2 great reports. It's Tuesday morning here on the Fisherman's Digest Hot Bites Fishing Report. So first report of the day, Saginaw Bay. Thanks so much, first of all, to the guys from Kick-Ass Outdoors who gave us this. It's a guiding business right there on Saginaw. The pictures you see are part of their catches. So if you want to get out on the bay and you're new to it, want to learn how to do it, get a hold of them at kickassoutdoors.com. And the report right now is really pretty simple. Straight out of Linwood Beach Marina, 3 to 5 miles, fishing 20 to 24 feet of water and being willing to move around. Now, we always talk about going group fishing when we're out on big water. And the biggest reason we do it is 2 things. Number 1, you can spread out. If you go with 8, 10 guys or girls, or kids, you can spread your sets out and try to identify the best, most productive water. That's really one reason. Number 2 is safety. When you have a big group of people, if somebody does run into problems, you've got help right there with you. So those are the 2 reasons. Now, the guys from Kick-Ass tell me that they're catching the fish on dew jiggers, Swedish pimples, crocodile spoons, jigging wraps. Any one of those 4 are working great. Now, it's the cadence and the colors that seem to be making a difference right now. So we talked about this a little bit last week. You want to do big call jigs, which are long sweeping jigs where you let the jig flutter or spoon flutter all the way to the bottom and pound on the bottom, actually creating a little bit of a silt cloud. And then when you're holding your jig firm, or your jigging spoon or your jigging wrap, you're going to hold it firm maybe 6-8 inches off the bottom. And a lot of times the bites will come when you stop your jigging motion and hold it firm. What are you tipping it with? Well, if you're tipping for a dead stick that's going to sit next to you while you jig, you're going to go ahead and back dorsal hook that minnow so he stays live and struggles a little bit. Maybe put that dead stick 8 inches to a foot off the bottom so those cruising fish will see it. Now, I always use just a minnow head when I'm going to do a rod in hand jigging presentation. I think the big full minnow kind of inhibits the action, especially when you're using a jigging wrap. So that's kind of my little tip for you. Jigging wraps have been working good in Fire Tiger and Hot Tiger. And what Hot Tiger is the Fire Tiger is green and yellow, the Hot Tiger is orange and yellow. That's been really good. Also, they've been having some success on the really bright days with chrome and blue. So those 3 colors are typically the ones that are working the best. And again, do search motions and then soften your jigging motion up to the little 4 and 5 inch pulls. Always remember to pause your jigging motion just have a sequence you go through: a call jigging motion, short jigging motion, pause. And that usually brings fish in and gets them to strike. But again, thanks to the guys at Kick-Ass for giving us a great report. If you guys are going out on your own, go right out of Linwood Beach, 3 to 5 miles out, 20 to 24 foot of water. Be safe. Have a great time there on Saturday. Check out the full line of Polarcraft boats at polarcraft.com. So hey, I got an awesome report from up in the Curtis area. Unfortunately, they only got 1 picture of the finished product back at the cabin before they started cutting them up and enjoying a great walleye dinner. But my friend Steve, a local guy from Grand Rapids, and his buddy love to go to the Manistique Lakes Recreation Area. This report is from South Lake Manistique. It's a great walleye report. It's got some really good information to help guys hone in on those fish. Now, I'm really familiar with this Manistique Lake recreation area. I built a large resort up on the Big Lake, Pine Bluff, Cedar Ridge. But right now, there's lots of really great mom and pops resorts, both on South Lake and on North Lake, that typically are catering to snowmobilers, that are now also including a lot more ice fishermen into their customer base, especially here in the wintertime. These two lakes are extremely good fishing lakes. South Manistique Lake has one of the highest walleye density populations per acre anywhere in the state of Michigan, and that is a fact according to the DNR. This is a lake that has lots of walleye. It's really just about understanding how to get to them and catch them. It's a weedy lake, so a lot of times those walleyes during the summer months stay away from the anglers by hiding in and around weeds, and most people don't really love to fish weed walleye, so that's why they have such a good population. But in the wintertime, when those weeds lay down, you can access them very well. Here's a couple of great spots to try. So on the north end of the lake, right in downtown, basically right in front of downtown in that main bay, 8 to 10 feet of water along that whole shoreline to the north shore on South Manistique Lake is a very good spot to catch migrating and traveling walleyes. They seem to move back and forth on this north shore because it's really, really loaded with small bluegills, small perch, and also there's small rivers that flow between the Big Lake and the South Lake, and that has a good population of resident sticklebacks and sucker minnows and just all the normal, little creek chubs, all the normal stuff you find in rivers. And so as a tributary lake, which means rivers flow through it, this really is a great feeder system to keep these fish healthy and well fed, and of course keep them close to where those points of entry are. So 8 to 10 feet. If you're setting a spread of tip-ups, set that spread of tip-ups out right on that break. And I'm going to set either a sucker minnow or a shiner on a light line. You will break off some northerns there, so if you're northern fishing, make sure that you're rigged according to northern fishing. If you're looking for walleyes, you're going to want to go ahead and put like a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader on, a small number 10 or 12 treble hook, back dorsal hook, a shiner, and that will target really, really well walleye. If you're looking for pike, go ahead and upsize the minnow, same back dorsal fin, hook that. Probably upsize your leader material a little bit. If not, go to a very thin wire leader, and then again, drop it down there. Foot and a half off the bottom seems to be the right way to rig those tip-ups for that particular presentation. Now, my friend Steve loves to jig, and he caught most of those fish, those 5 nice walleyes you saw in that picture. He caught most of this on buckshot rattle jigs, 1/8 ounce buckshot rattle jig. Again, it's not deep water. And hooking it where you put the barb of the hook into the minnow's mouth and come out the top behind his head, so it's right on your buckshot rattle jig, and then pinching half of the minnow off. Again, sometimes a whole minnow isn't always the best thing. Steve loves to fish with half minnows that are pinched off. He thinks sometimes the scent of that pinch off area really travels around and triggers those walleyes that come through and get close. You're also going to run into some really nice perch there, as well as some crappie. Perch, crappie, bluegill, and walleye and northerns. That's the base forage there. That's the base fishing targets there during the winter, and they've got good populations of both. So again, 8 to 10 feet. If you're looking for a secondary spot on the south end of the lake, out off of the access road that comes out at the south end of the lake, there's an island. There's also good fishing in 8 to 10 feet around that island. So that's 2 spots that you can check that guys have had really good success. Of course, there's lots of other shoreline breaks in that lake, and there's really good fishing around a lot of them. But really the key, I would say, is concentrating your efforts on where the weed edges were in the fall when all of the weeds started to die and lay down, and that's 8 to 10 feet. Hey, have a great trip up there. Call up the Tourism Association if you're looking for accommodations. Go to my website and click on the Curtis area. I've got a lot of accommodations options there on my website as well at fishermansdigest.com. But hey, get up to Curtis. It's an awesome time, and the bite only gets better going into the month of March.
The Bait Shop in Waterford is your one-stop live bait and fishing tackle destination. With an awesome selection of rods and reels, custom-poured jigs, soft plastics, and panfish baits. The Bait Shop also has seasonal items for ice fishing, the Spring River Walleye Run, and summer salmon, bass, walleye, and pan fishing. Visit the Bait Shop in Waterford for all your bait and tackle needs.
So hey, we mentioned it at the top of the show that the guys here at DNR Sports have got lots of boats. They've got lots of boats that are coming in. Now there's, like most dealers, there's not lots of stock boats that are unsold, but don't let that panic you at all. These are display models that'll be shipped out to new owners in the spring. And right now is a great time to come in, get your deposit down with a salesman, and get on that list to get your boat. Right now, Miles tells me they're still getting, especially in the aluminum line boats, they're still able to get boats well before the fishing season even starts. I mean, if you were coming in here right now, you know, some really popular models, you can still get, you know, a month or, you know, so from now. So, you know, that's still winter time. But really, if you're looking for an upper price boat, a Ranger, a Triton, maybe a glass tracker or a pontoon, as you all know, those boats get really, really desirable. Oh, in another month or so, this is February already, we got the Grand Rapids Sports Show coming in March, and that's a bonsai ordering time. I would suggest you get here to DNR Sport, get your deposit in the salesman's hand, pick out that boat you want, and beat that great big rush so you're sure to have your boat when walleye season or bass season starts there at the end of April and in May. So again, get down here to DNR Sports. Talked to Katie earlier. I'll give you dates a little bit later for the big spring bash that they have here every April with lots of speakers and lots of people coming in. It's an awesome time to stock up there as well. But there's lots of good things happening at DNR Sport, but it takes you to come on down, get a deposit into their hands, and get that new boat ordered for 2022.